Morning dear students, let's start our class. Our geography 4th chapter maps. Today we are going to discuss maps. Previous class we are discussed with globe. What is globe or what do you mean by globe? Globe is a true model of earth. Right? Globe is a true model of earth. And globe is considered or globe can be used to identify our earth. Okay, globe is considered globe is we use to study the earth as whole, right? Earth as whole. But we want to study a particular places or like states, countries, districts. So these kind of studies needed another thing. In these studies, we cannot use globes. Globe is used for the study earth as whole. And when we need to study about a particular place or a country, cities, states and other particular parts of a country, so at that time we use maps. At that time we use maps. Right. So the map is mainly used for the study of a particular place like country, state, district, towns, villages, etc. So what do you mean by map? Map, what is the map? Map is a representation of the earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. Maps, what is map? A map is a representation of the earth surface or a part of it on a flat surface. That is called map. That is called map. When we need to study a country or a particular place like country, state, district or other places like villages, towns, we need maps. We need maps. So, what is map? A map is a representation of the earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. You are familiar with maps, right? You are familiar with maps. You are seeing many types of maps. Like we know that our Indian maps and Kerala. Like so, these types of studies needs map. A particular place or like countries, districts, states or towns or village in these types of studies. So we want to these types of studies. So we use maps. A map is a representation of the earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. So this is map. And a group of maps is called atlas. What? Atlas. Many maps are put together, we get an atlas. Okay. Many types of many maps. So many maps are put together, we get an atlas. We get an atlas. So what do you mean by atlas? Atlas means many types of maps put together is called atlas. Many types of maps or many types of maps or many maps put together we get an atlas. An atlas. We get atlas. So what do you mean by map? A map It is called atlas. Okay, so we used to study a particular area or a country, district, states or town or village. When that situation, we use maps. What do you mean by maps? A map is a representation of the earth's surface or a part of it on a flat surface. So, many maps put together and we get an atlas. We get an atlas. So, what is atlas? Atlas is the group of maps type a book that is called atlas. Okay, that is called atlas. We have different kinds of or different types of maps. Now we are going to study different types of maps. Types of maps. Different types of maps. Which are they? First one is physical map. Physical map. What do you mean by physical map? A map which shows a physical features, like natural features, like what mountains, rivers, plateaus, plains, oceans, etc. That types of maps are called physical map. Okay, maps that shows physical features or natural features of the earth, like mountain, rivers, plains, plateau, oceans, etc. These types of maps are called physical map. So what do you mean by physical map? A map shows physical features or natural features of the earth, like mountains, rivers, oceans, plains, plateaus, that types of maps are called physical maps. Okay. So the physical map shows mountains, rivers, plains, plateaus, oceans, etc. These types of maps are called physical map. Second one is political map. Which one? Political map. Political map. What do you mean by political map? Map shows cities, towns and villages or different states, countries and its capitals and with boundaries. That types of map are called political map. The map shows village, cities, countries, states and its capital with boundaries is called. These types of maps are called political map. Political map. So, a political map shows countries, states and its capitals and boundaries of states or a country. Okay, boundaries with the states and countries with boundaries. Okay, boundaries and cities, etc. So these types of political things are shows in a map. That map is called political map. Okay, so what do you mean by map? A map is a representation of a surface. Okay, so we have different types of maps. First one is physical map. First one is physical map. What do you mean by physical map? Physical map refers to or a map shows physical features or natural features of air like mountain, river, oceans, plains, boundaries, cities, villages. Like these types of maps are called political map. Political map. The next one is thematic map. The third one is thematic map. What do you mean by thematic map? Map shows general information about the forest areas and rainfalls or rainfalls areas and some regions of rainfalls and distribution of forests, industries, road, railways. These types of maps are called thematic maps. These types of maps are called thematic maps. Or thematic maps shows what else? Shows the general information about climate. Again, the general information about climate or rainfall regions, rainfall regions, rainfall regions and distribution of forest area or distribution of forest. Forest and industries, roads, etc. These types of maps are called thematic maps. Okay, so thematic maps shows the details of a climate or climate map and rainfall regions, distribution of forest or forest area, industries, roads and railways. So these types of information given by thematic maps. Thematic maps. Okay, so we have three types of maps. First one is physical map. What do you mean by physical map? Physical map shows the physical features or the natural features of Earth, like river, mountain, plains, plateau, etc. Second one is political map. Political map shows the details of countries, states and its capitals and its boundaries, cities, town, etc. These types of maps are called political maps. The third one is thematic map. Thematic maps shows the general details of climate, rainfall regions, distribution of forests, forest areas, industries and roads, rails, etc. These types of information given with thematic maps. That maps are called the thematic maps. Okay. So these are the main types of maps. Then we are moving on with the three components of maps. Three components of maps or the three features of maps. Components of maps. First one we are going with distance. Distance. These components are help to read our map. Okay, these components can help how to read a map or how to understand a map. First the component is distance. What? Distance. It is not possible. It is not possible for finding the actual distance between cities and cities or country to country or state to state. We can show in the map that is a little space. Okay, with a little space. So distance mainly used. The distance is represented by a smaller unit in a map. So the distance is used for a smaller unit on a map to show the distance between cities or cities, country to country or state to state. or continent to continent, right? So the distance is represented by a smaller unit on a map. A smaller unit on a map. So the distance, we are using distance in a map with a smaller unit. We use a smaller unit. Because of what, it is not possible to show the actual distance and or actual size of the earth on a map because it is too large, right? The countries of distance with earth or country to country, state to state is very large. So in map we use a small unit in a map to show the distance. So the ratio between the distance on a ground and the distance of the map is known as scale. So we use scale for an accurate distance valuation. So what do you mean by scale? A scale shows the ratio between the distance, the original distance or the real distance on the ground and the distance of the map. The scale shows the original distance or the distance of the earth to the distance of the map. That is called scale. We use some scales. Okay. That is a smaller unit. We already discussed that. In a map we use distance. Distance is the most important component of a map. It shows a distance between countries to countries, cities to cities, etc. So in a map we use distance as a smaller unit. So what is meant by scale? The ratio between the distance on the ground and the distance of the map is known as scale. So the scale shows the ratio between the distance on the ground and the distance of the map is known as scale. So what do you mean by scale? A scale shows the ratio between the distance on the ground and the distance of the map. That is called scale. Okay. So in our map or in map we use two types of scale, that is small scale maps and large scale map. Small scale map and large scale map. So we use two types of maps according to scale. So what is that? First one is small scale map. What do you mean by small scale map? A large country. When we use the large area like continents or countries are to be shown on a paper, we use small scales. We need or we apply in a large area, like continents or countries are to be shown on a paper. We use small scale in a map. It is because when it is 500 kilometer in a real, that in our map we use only 5 centimeter. The real it is in 500 kilometer in a real, then we use on map it is only 5 centimeter. So next one is large scale map. Large scale map mainly used when a small area like states, districts or towns. Okay, small area like village or town, or cities or town are to be shown on a paper, we use large scale map. We use large scale map or large scale unit. For example, and at least 500 meter in real, we use it 5 centimeter in map. Okay, and large scale we use real, which is 500 meters in a smaller area. We use in map it is 5 centimeter. In a small scale map we use or we consider a large area like continent or countries, and to be shown on a paper we use small scale. When the real is 500 kilogram, we use on in map with 5 centimeter. With 5 centimeter. Oh, so you can see the large scale and the small scale. According to large scale and small scale, large scale maps are given more information than small scale map. So the large scale maps are given more information rather than the small scale maps. Because of what? In large scale map, consider a small area and it gives more information rather than the small scale map. Small scale map including large area, right? Large area. In large scale map including small area like villages or cities or towns. So these are the main type of scales: large scale map and small scale map. It is under the components of distance. So this is the example of political map. This is the map of India. This is the example of political map. What do you mean by political map? We already said that political map is considered the political features, right? Our map shows country, states and its capitals and its boundaries, towns, villages. So these types of maps are called political map. Look at this map. We can see this is our India, right? This is India, Indian political map. We can see the states: Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, Telangana, etc. and Gujarat, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, so Chhattisgarh. So this is the states, right? These are the states. So in this map we can see the India, the country, our country India, and we can see the states and the main cities like Trivandrum, Chennai, Bangalore and Agra, Delhi. So we can see the main cities, Delhi. So we can see the main cities and even if small towns. So this is the example of physical map. So a physical map shows the country or states and its capitals and the boundaries. We can see these are the boundaries. The neighbors countries in India is Pakistan. We can see the Pakistan, Nepal and Tibet, Bangladesh, Myanmar, so Sri Lanka. So we can see the boundaries and road rules, and we can see the all details in this map. That is called political map. Okay, what is called political map? The main components of maps. First one is distance. We already discussed what is distance. In real, a country to country or state to state, we have large amount of distance. But in a map, we shows a small unit. We shows it's a small unit. We show it's a small unit. So two types of scales map, that is small scale map and large scale map. Small scale map include a large area and like continent, countries, and a large scale map included a small area intermediate direction. Intermediate directions. Which are they? We can see in this. So, the between south and east, we call that is southeast. For us is south. That is southeast. First intermediate direction is between south and east. This is called southeast. Southeast. Between north and east, we call northeast. Northeast. Between north and east, the intermediate direction is known as northeast. Northeast. Between the north and west, the intermediate direction we call northwest. Okay, then the last one is west to south. Between south and west, we call that intermediate direction is southwest. Okay, we call southwest. So, which are the intermediate directions? That is southwest, southeast, northeast and northwest. Which are they? Southwest, southeast, northeast and northwest. Okay, so which are the main direction? Which are the cardinal points? Cardinal points are north, east, west, south. North, east, west, south. That is called, these directions are called cardinal points. So we have 4 intermediate directions. Which are they? That is northeast, northwest, southeast and southwest. So these are the 4 intermediate directions. And in every map which shows these types of direction, every map shows directions. Most important 4 directions. We have 4 directions that are north, south, east, west. And we have intermediate direction. Which are they? That is southeast, northeast, northwest and southwest. And every map shows directions. So according to direction, we have the another mission that is called compass. Compass. What do you mean by compass? A compass is a magnetic. We found out the direction of a place with the help of a compass. We can use a compass to find the directions. We use compass to find the directions, right? We use a compass to find the direction. Mainly in a compass we have a magnetic needle that shows in every compass shows the directions with north south directions. Always shows the north south direction. North south direction is the magnetic needle. We can see it is like this. This on your textbook. This is the picture of compass. A compass. This is the picture of a compass. This compass was used for the identify or find the direction of a place, and the instruments used to find the main directions. It has a magnetic needles always pointed towards north and south. That is called compass. A compass. What is the use of a compass? Compass can be used for identify the directions on a place. Okay. So the third component was symbol. symbols. Third component is symbols. The third component is symbols. Symbols. And every map shows symbols. Like we know that in such a map shows railways, symbols, and mountains which shows like this, and trees shows like this. Of these types of pictures that are called symbols. Pictures are called symbols. Right? These types of pictures in a map that are called symbols. So what do you mean by symbols? And in a map you can see the buildings, roads, bridges, trees, rail lines, roads. These types of things we need to identify on a map with the help of symbols. Okay, on a map we use symbols to identify buildings, rails, railway, roads, trees, mountains, rivers. So these types of we can identify with the help of symbols. With the help of symbols. They are mostly in symbols. They are using different colors of different things. Different colors for identifying different types of things. For example, and symbols can be used with colors and pictures and lines. Mainly use these types of items for identifying for some. For example, we want to identify buildings, rivers, forest, and rail or road. So we use the symbols. These symbols mainly used with colors, pictures, and lines. The symbols mainly used with colors or different colors, and different parts we need different colors and different pictures and lines. So this is used for symbols. A symbol means an international arrangement regarding of the use of symbols is called conventional symbols. So what do you mean by conventional symbols? Conventional symbols means we use the international arrangement regarding. Okay, international arrangements of regarding use of symbols is called conventional symbols. Conventional symbols. Conventional symbols. So what do you mean by conventional symbols? We use conventional symbols means we use the international requirements or international arrangements regarding or international arrangements in every countries or every continent or every country with the same symbols in some features that are called conventional symbols. Conventional symbols. In your text for figure 4.3, you can see the conventional symbols. These are the conventional symbols. Which are the conventional symbols? Like, which are the conventional symbols we use in railway and rail or a church or a mosque in a map, we use a conventional symbol like this. So this picture shows a church, right? This is called church and this is mosque and etc. These types of pictures or these types of symbols shows in a map is called in there was a temple or there was a church or there was a mosque. We can see it in this page number 26 for 4.3 figure. It shows conventional symbols. Look at this. We have post office. The symbol is PO. If they use a letter PO, and post and telegraph office is PTO, and police station is use the symbol PS, and settlement we use the building blocks like this. We use this types of building blocks for settlement, and when we identify the trees or a forest, so we use these types of symbols, or these types of symbols shows there was a forest or a forest area, and these types of symbols it shows the grass area. So these are the symbols as mainly known as conventional symbols. Conventional symbols, it is international arrangements of regarding that is called conventional symbols. So these are the main components of maps. So today we are discussed with what is map and type of map, which are the types of map: physical map, political map and thematic map, and 3 types of map, and we discussed with 3 components of maps, which are the distance we use scales, we use small scale map and large scale map, and then we discussed with directions, which are the 4 directions: north, south, east, west, and we have intermediate directions that are north, south, northwest, and southeast and southwest, right? So these are the intermediate directions. The last one, the last component was symbols. We said that each and every symbol showing different kinds of things. For we can identify in a map. On a map, we can identify buildings, rails, roads, forests. Like this, we use mostly identify for the symbols. Because of the symbols, the international arrangements of regarding is called conventional symbols, which are they? We use railway, roads, boundaries, rivers, bridge, post office, telegrams, and police stations, settlement, trees. These are the main use these symbols for. That is called conventional symbols. Okay, read your text carefully and stay safe. Thank you.